In the middle of the track is Arg! Coming down to the final 16th, it is Stand Pat in front. Arg! Arg! Arg in front, coming down to the wire.
Into the final furlong. My wife knows everything. The wife doesn't know. They're 1-2. Of course they are. My wife knows everything in front. Sitting outside, the wife doesn't know. My wife knows everything. The wife doesn't know. My wife knows everything. More than the wife doesn't know.
Big warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Inquiry Breeders' Cup Extravaganza. And just to celebrate the occasion and also the curtain falling on the 2022 flat season, turf season, we've got 5 splendid people in the house today, including myself, John Lang, Andy Richmond, Jack Veach and Nick Davis, all vying for the Naps title, except Jack, obviously, sorry, he couldn't because he hasn't had as many bets. But the interesting thing here is that all 4 of us can win it, and we're all here to give hopefully, some sound reasoned bets. And I'm intrigued to what everyone else has got up the sleeve. Nick Davis is already cruelly saying that I'm going to go 1.5 points each way flight line in the Classic. It's disgraceful behaviour. But no, it's not that. It's a 5-4 shot. No, anyway. So hopefully we're going to line your pockets with silver on our very last show of this 2022 flat season. We'll be back as normal with the jumps rubbish. We'll probably get Neville Ender back, etc., next week. Norman Adams, that idiot Paddock man.
We could boot you off, Lee, and I'll host the show. Boot you 2 off because you don't like the twig hoppers, and just have me and Ender on that.
To be honest, it actually would. It probably works. Yeah.
You can just do the sermon. There you go. Sorted that one out.
Yeah, time off. Right, come on then. Let's have it because I want some best bets. Davis, you've been notoriously quiet all week about what you're going to do this weekend. What are you doing?
Right, I want this one at USA tote odds.
You can have that.
Yes. Yeah, I can have that. Yeah.
I'll let you.
There'll be no griping about Fantasy Island prices. Boom,
oh,
boom.
Exactly. Yes. Boom, Littlewood. Wanker.
Right, I'm going to go because I think there'll be a massive price difference in America. I don't think on the last one there wasn't a lot between them, and Nashwa's had a longer, harder season. So I want to back above the curve 1 point at USA tote odds. I think they'll let her go off. I think In Italian might be second favourite. I think it might go off 8 or 10.
Yeah, that's an interesting. A bit of value, and there's no problem with doing that because obviously a toe pull, that's fine. I'm fine with that. If Nick wants those odds, for those of you that do play the fixed odds, it's 11-2 with Bet365 and Coral, so above the curve there in the Phillies turf in the 550 at Keenland. Thank you, Nick. Andy Richmond.
Right, I'm going to go with one of my old favourites, and it is a flat horse as well. I thought it was fair to play fair here with it, so I'm going to go 1250 Doncaster Summergand. Admirable sort, won 2 big field handicaps this year, including the Air Gold Cup of 102. I can't understand his price in relation to Comanche Falls because he's beaten him twice this year, if only narrowly, and he's about twice the price. Favourite Art Power, don't fancy that one at all. Has had his cup final this year. Summergand point win, round 11-2, one of my old favourites, and hope he'll round the season off at Doncaster. He'll handle the ground, no problem at all, and a point on Summerhand will do nicely.
Good stuff, 6-1 with William Hill and Bet Victor.
Fantasy.
So, point win. Yeah, fantasy prices there again. So coming to you, Jack Veach, for your 1 pointer.
Well, it hasn't taken long, Lee. We've already got a klaxon.
Woohoo!
550 Keeneland above the curve.
Love it.
Can I request the Azerbaijani tote for mine?
I've heard the Albanian tote's better, actually.
Yeah. If anyone in Tirana can get me on, that'd be brilliant. But no, similar to what David said, really. I think Nashwa, is probably the rightful fav, but at kind of 6-4, absolutely happy to swerve her. I think the two of them, you could have chucked a blanket on them last time out at Longchamp. And I think the key thing, I think she'll improve for the better ground. She's always been a good ground filly. She's an American Pharaoh, drawn well. I think 11-2, that I make those two a lot closer, and they're your 1-2 in the race for me. But at those prices, all over, above the curve.
Corking 11-2 for Jacker to kick us off for his 1-pointer, and again in the fillies and mare turf. Jonas Lang.
You won't need a klaxon for this fucker.
I thought, is it in the 1250, the one Andy's tips in?
No, this is in the 429 at Keenland, the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And I am expecting a massive pace collapse here with some mental pace on the front end. And I am backing Bran to pick up the bits. Very consistent sprinter who actually stays a mile. Usually settles with a midfield perch, and this race could drop right in his lap with mental pace all over the track. They might not stop enough for him, but he ought to be finishing well down the centre. Half a point each way.
Okay, so you're thinking the pace collapse, then the 6:30 at Keeneland. So I'm just trying to get the prices. Don Runner, John.
Oh.
Steve, money back.
Go again.
Have you got another third choice? He's done this before. Follow us this week.
Okay, so I'll have the same bet, half a point each way, in the November handicap on Deja.
Ah.
Yeah.
That was nearly my third best. Fatty would know. I messaged Fatty, but he didn't answer me.
Ah, right. I think this is very interesting. Can go on very well fresh. Come down the proverbial ton in the ratings. We love the ground. Why the hell would Fatty bring one back in this just for a run round?
Six pegs for
40s? I'd better have the 6 pegs at what price?
40s.
Yeah, 6 pegs at 40s is lovely.
Stokes, look, go on, Nick, quickly.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Why would he bring it back just for one race? But he may be drunk.
He could be. Yeah.
I will be well by the end of this show. Nap. Okay, on to mine then quickly. So 1:30 Doncaster, a listed race for fillies on heavy ground. Most people in the world will be avoiding this like the plague. Not me. I love getting stuck into fillies in the autumn on heavy. And
Can you rephrase that?
Yeah.
No,
autumn, winter, whatever. Mellow Yellow is the selection at 14-1, generally available. The shirt. It's the second string. This horse disappointed badly last time when a heavily backed favourite. I was on bigger prices than the SP, but it went off heavily backed. Before that, it beat Misty Dancer, that's been backed into 7s, and it gave Misty Dancer a whole lot of weight and pissed all over it. Bearing in mind that Mellow Yellow's had a fracture before, so bearing in mind that the undulations at Newmarket wouldn't have suited. You're getting the price because of the official rating of 88 in a listed race. I did state before the Newmarket race, this filly, I believe, was at least 100. And you only have to be about 105 to win this, I believe. So I think at 14-1, this is very sporting, despite Stevie Donoghue on board, which I don't really like, but I've got to play at 14s. Mellow Yellow for the shirt. Okay, next round, 2 pointers. John, I'll come straight to you to swing it back around.
Well, this will disappoint you because I'm going for the shirt's first string in the same race.
I don't blame you. I
thought this ran a blinder last time, just ran out of it by Mare well handicap sort in a Ascot handicap, which has happened to a lot of horses this year. I think you can get the trip fine, and especially in the conditions, get it better than most in what I think is a pretty thin listed race. 2 points win.
Can't knock it at all. 4-1. Generally available, Slut, Mountains, etc., etc. Andy Richmond, your 2 pointer.
Right, we're going to Doncaster. Nuts and hay, easy. I'm going to rely on the Irish again. Mr. Mullins of the Emmett variety, teed up, is going to be the one that I want to go be with here. I just think this just looks like it's been set up for this, doesn't it? It doesn't. There's another one in here I quite like in Metier, the mud-loving Metier. I nearly split the stakes between them, and I will be back in Metier, but I won't be teed up. Irish Raider. We've seen one dot up in the Alcazar, which haven't we? Conditions are right for him. Don't worry about the wide draw. I can tell you all about the draw later when we get a bit more time. I can see he's around 12-1 at the moment. I can see that coming under pressure. He ran down the field 3 weeks ago after a 76-day break. That's probably a bit of a tee up for today. He's finished second and first in 2 hurdle races at Galway. Looks off a very lightweight to me. I'll go a point each way with the extended places on teed up if I can have the 12-1 or somewhere around
you can have 10-1 7 places. It's
That'll
been
do.
back.
Thanks very much. I'll take that.
That's
Thanks
Sky
very
Bet. 10-1 each way, 7 places for Andy. Big each way race there. Yeah, shrewd bet, really. Can't knock it. Okay, I will start us off. Carry on with my 2-pointer. Goes in the Breeders' Cup turf, 840 at Keenland. I think it's about a 12 or 14-1 chance. And the horse in question is Broom. Aidan O'Brien, Irad Ortiz has took the ride. Obviously, Ryan has chosen Stone Age, but Broom, I don't think you can knock when he's ran over here. Last year's race, he was second, and I thought he did extremely well to finish where he did. He's had some terrible rides recently from Moore and Wayne Lorden. It was a terrible ride in the Arc, and I just feel that Broom, when he comes over, this race would not be much better than the race he was second in last year. And because of the each way terms, I cannot see Broom out the 4. And that's where I'm sort of playing the wankery bit. So it's 16-1 with the Stokes Slut, actually, and Entain, of all places. 4 places, each way a pleasure. Broom in the Breeders' Cup turf tomorrow night at 8:40. Okay, Jack Veach, coming to you.
Coming to me, right. Well, this is a personal bet for Mr. Mark Littlewood in the 313 at Doncaster, because if I'm about to split stake wanker a couple more, and if we've not found the winner between 4 or 5 or however many of us, he can take over this podcast full time, I think.
Yeah.
So 2 I've got in mind here. First one is the shirts Nathaniel Green. I think he's he stays very well. I think. Well, with both of my selections, I'll go on to the other in a moment, but I think they've both had this in mind for a while. 4th last time out, some good form earlier in the year at Doncaster on the slop. This is going to be the same. So I think I make him a little bit shorter than the 8-1. And the other is my favourite trainer, who I do tend to get a bit biased towards, but it's Jane Chapelheim's First Officer. This horse has kind of gone to a bit of a new level since switching over from Varian. One runaway winner where he made all penultimate start, got short-headed last time up, but still off a mark of 89. My angle into the race really is that I want a couple who are definitely going to stay, and I think a couple who might have a bit in hand here off 89 and 90 respectively. I like the Fav, but he's got a big ask to run off 106. He had it all his own way last time off a crawl. So yeah, just thought play look 2 against the field here with claims, and so 1 point First Officer, 1 point Nathaniel Green, please.
Good.
You've got that.
Good choice, Jack. I had First Officer down. I was going to split stake between Teed Up and First Officer, actually. That's the other one I fancied as well. But like you, I respect the favourite, but he's got a heck of a lot on for a trainer who has a superb record in the race.
Yes. 8-1 Nathaniel Green for Jack, and that's with the Stokes Slut, and 11-1 with Entain for First Officer. So like it, Nick Davis finished the round.
Right, I kind of agree with you in I think this is one of the worst turfs I've seen. I mean, I really respect Broom. I will have a saver on him. To me, the horse are guaranteed to run her races. Warlike Goddess. She's the model of consistency. I mean, the Bayers for One Nation. He only had an 86 Bayer when he won at America. He smashed the track record. And there's only an 86 Bayer. I mean, she hits 102 to 105 regularly. But she's just a model of consistency. She should have won the filly and mare turf last year. If you watch that ride, she was virtually last 2.5 out. She went 5 wide, got to the front, and then was just run out of it by the Japanese. And, that was people saying, oh, she got out battled. If you from Del Mar, virtually last coming into the bend, go 5 wide and manage to get to the front, you're superior by far to a lot of those horses. I don't think it's a great race, and I think she's the more she's the one who will run a race. She may come second or third, but I would make her favourite on that. I want to take. Is it 9 to 2? Is it?
It is. William Hill, Unibet, Betfred.
Yeah,
no problems.
I'll take the 9 to 2.
So Rob, the Turt, Nick's liking the 9 to 2 available for the consistent and admirable Warlike Goddess. Good luck, Nick. Okay, max bet round. I'll kick us off. Go to Aintree.
Of all places.
I know I'd disappoint you, and I'm going in the 211, the Sefton, and I am scratching my head at the prices because the turnaround that Oliver Greenall and Josh Guerrero have made is quite astonishing. They had a really shit year last year. It was like 9%, 23% this year. That's the kind of click they're hitting at the moment. And their horse, Jess Keel, won Hunter Chasers last season, got an official rating of 130 coming across from France, only a 6-year-old, went back to France last spring to run at Auteuil, and I watched both starts, and incredibly impressed with Jess Keel. I think this is a horse that will thrive over these fern fences, and the way it jumps, everything, and I think it's a lot better than 130. I think it's probably going to be one of their flagships this year, and I'm very excited to see the price, because if this was Paul Nicholls, having pissed up last time in a listed chase, the runner-up's gone in since. The time before, it was beaten by one that's gone on and won a big handicap hurdle at Auteuil after that. The form is really strong in France. If this was trained by Pumpkin, this would be 5s, 9 to 2, tops, and that's how I price it. I think this should be around 11 to 2, 5 to 1. This is a top contender for this race. It's only because it's raced in France. The betting public, no idea. So Jess Keel to kick us off, 12 to 1 with the slut each way, 4 pegs. That'll be enough. 1.5 points each way on Jess Keel in the Sefton. Monsieur Richmond, coming back to you.
Right, we're going head to head then. Same race. You can have a match bet on that as well then. Lifetime Ambition.
Yeah.
Sent over, jumps like a stag. Won his chase debut last year. Couldn't fail to be impressed with his jumping last year. Returned to his best at Punchestown in April. Got to remember the Harrington Yard was a little bit out of form in the winter when he was second to Capodanno in a Grade 1. Wasn't the greatest Grade 1, I'll give you that, but that was over 3 miles. He's back down in trip. You need a positive, always need something ridden positively around the Aintree fences. You don't get much coming from miles off the pace these days. Goes well fresh, positive ride, let him rip over these fences, and I could just see him tearing away from this lot. I just think he's better than all of them. And I do appreciate your notation for Jess Keel, because I had a look at him as well. I think it's a bad favourite here, because if anyone else trained Broken Halo other than Pumpkin, I'm not sure it'd be favourite, and some other poor prices here as well. But it's quite a decent race actually. But Lifetime Ambition, 1.5 each way to hopefully see you off. But
9 to 1 with Stoke as well. And by the way, Andy, that's Fry's nap as well. She messaged me today and said Lifetime Ambition.
Great minds and all that then.
Yeah, so good race. I like the Sefton.
Except I'm allowed out the cellar a bit more often.
Right, so we've got 3 left. Davis, I'm coming to you for your very, very best.
Right, my best bets are going in the Breeders' Cup Mile. I'll quantify this by saying that if Modern Games in is his top form, I think he will win. But only found as ever since Ascot changed to the dates and the Champions Day, only found as ever won a Breeders' Cup race after running at Champions Day. I'm pretty sure. And some good ones have tried, like Olympic Glory, Acceleration, and it was a grueling race at Ascot. He got to the front pretty early and didn't have an easy race at all. And I'm just wondering that 3-week turnaround is going to take the edge off him. So I'm going 2-handed. I want one at our prices. That's Annapolis, who in the Coolmore Mile won by a length and a half from Ivor. Now, I think they went through at about 46 and 30. The 2 around him were finished out the back of the telly, and he won, and the other one comes through. And I think he's the 3-year-old. He's got the most upside. I think he's 10 to 1, is he?
Annapolis is 10-1 with Paddy Power Unibet, yes.
Yeah, and the other 1.5 points. USA Tote, Dream Loper, best run of its life last time out, and another one that's now blooming. Kinross, I mean, there's got so many negatives. Stall 14, they gave the 3-week layoff, and the firmer ground. Whilst appreciating modern games, if he's back to his best, will probably win. I mean, his Bayer is massively above everything else here. I'm going to go split stakes those two. 1 USA Tote, 1 10-1.
So the USA Tote is Dream Loper 8-1. So it's, 8-1 Bet365, but US Tote for that one.
Yeah.
And Annapolis 10-1 as we discussed. Paddy Power Unibet. Good luck, Nick, with those two in the mile. Jacko.
Right, well, I had two here that I couldn't decide on, so I thought, why not? Breeders' Cup special, stick them in a double. First leg, 7:10 Breeders' Cup mile. Davis has proceeded to put me off. However, I am going to stick with Modern Games. I wouldn't put him up if he was the price I think he should be. Put it that way. I think still at the sort of 2-1, 9-4 mark. I completely agree with what he said around Ascot. It probably wasn't ideal prep. I think they only ran him that day as they thought they'd have a squeak of the old Trainers' Championship, but then Bide fluffed it anyway. So that probably wasn't the best idea. But on all figures and on all known form, I think he wins pretty handily. Kinross is stuffed out wide. He's on fast ground. Dream Loper again. Respect her. However, this is going to be. I mean, given going today was firm. I think she wants a little bit of juice in there. And I just think he's going to be too good for this lot. He's been there and done it before, so I'm hopeful we can stick him in at 9-4, and then we're rolling on to the Breeders' Cup turf again with another Godolphin pick, but not the favourite. I'm a big fan of Rebels Romance in this one. So I think Nation's Pride's priced up on the fact that Buick's chosen him, or they've told him to pick him, or whatever. But I think if you look at the two horses, so Rebels Romance on a 4 streak since his kind of return to turf this year, he's been unbeatable. His race last time out in Germany in the Von Baden was impressive enough. He beat Samarco 3/4 of a length on very unfavourable ground, giving him weight. I think that form alone is probably the pick in this race. If you exclude Mishriff, who I just don't think's the same horse and is stuck out on the wide gate. So I think looking at the pair now, what they are 5-2, 9-2, I'd have them the other way around personally. Big fan of Rebels Romance, and I think he gets the job done. So when these two go in, I'll be cracking open a can of Bud Light and toasting the boys over in Qatar or wherever they are.
Well, so Rebels Romance and what's the one? Modern Games in a double.
Modern Games, yeah, indeed.
Yeah, 3 points, 3-point double. You're going for jackpot.
Max bet. Well, look, I'm out. I'm not included in the old P&L because I came on the scene too late. But I thought I'd try and go out in style at least.
Good stuff. Yeah, that's the spirit. Good stuff, Jack. Okay, John, finish us off.
Back to good old Doncaster, folks. 239, very obvious pick, Young Fire. Should have gone a lot closer 2 weeks ago, but a gap closed on him, as gaps have tended to close all season for a lot of my selections. If he comes in the same form as he was 2 weeks ago, he has to go close. 3 points win.
3 points on the noggin for Young Fire at 5-1. That's with the Stoke. So that concludes the bets. Hope you like the reasonings, and maybe you'll find some winners yourself, and who you side with. It's up to you. Far away. But anyway, on to the chat about the racing tomorrow. So we go to the main races on the television tomorrow. It's difficult covering the Breeders' Cup as well. So we'll start with the Badger Beer.
Lovely.
Yeah. So
Are you going to be over bet tomorrow? I think it would be. Everyone.
I think so. I think so.
I mean, you see it winning, but everyone seems to be tipping. You can see him going off 5-2, 9-4, can't you?
It's certainly a good class.
I did look at this race actually. I thought one goes very well fresh. Is Potterman, doesn't he?
Yeah, the King though.
As well.
It goes off usually very, very well fresh. And I just thought it might be under bet compared to what Frodon's going to be.
It's been second in that race twice.
Andy, I think ITV4 will go bananas if Bryony wins the Badger Bay tomorrow. What's your take on it? Have you got any good stats or anything that's worth mentioning?
I mean, they've given Frodon an enormous chance, haven't they? I mean, he does go well fresh. He's won 4 times from 6 runs off 150 plus days off. So there's your key into that one. It's not the greatest of races. The one thing against him would be the last 10-year-old winner was back in 2010, but Pumpkin's won it he's won it 5 times since 2010. The last time he won it was in 2019 with Give Me a Copper. There's a lot of horses rocking up from last year because Rocco obviously won it. Possum Man was second. El Presente was 5th. He was a 2020 winner. Captain Nor was 4th, but Christian Williams' horses are in terrible form at the moment. Don't mention strike. Do not mention strike rates to me. If one more person puts a strike rate on a bloody television screen, I'm going to scream. Can somebody please tell them to put them in context and put some percentage runners beaten figures or some wax figures, winners above expected? Because otherwise you're just not comparing bananas with toffee apples, basically. It's absolute rubbish. Anyhow, that's my rant. I mean, I agree with Nick. I mean, Frodon could be, he could be one of those that gains a little bit of momentum throughout, and everybody just thinks, if he does go and win, everyone going, that was obvious, wasn't it? I quite fancy Lord Accord. I thought he won quite well at Cheltenham. I nearly made him a bet. He's gone up £5 for that. Mulholland's got previous in the race. He had that one that got disqualified, didn't he? When it wasn't, they won it and then they took the race off him because it wasn't qualified. I've forgotten the name of the
Young Master.
The Young Master, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Good memory.
No, that one had slipped through the net. So yeah, I think he is. I mean, there's a few other horses in there. Irish Prophecy. He's got 2. There's a lot of horses who've got 2 ways of running in this. And I think the one thing you're going to get with Frodon is you're pretty sure you know which way it's going to go. But there's quite a bit of pace on. I'm not sure if he'll get taken on up front, but it wasn't a race I was going to go overboard about. I just thought if there was a little bit of value in it, Lord Accord. Otherwise, you could slap a few quid on Frodon and hope that everyone else does and just trade out before the race, because I think he might well be, as Nick says, I think he might gather a bit of momentum throughout the day, especially with ITV4 jumping up and down on the Bryony bandwagon.
Agreed. Okay, so we'll go to Aintree for the Sefton, where myself and Andy coincidentally have gone against each other for the big bets. So anybody, I mean, Andy, anything further to add on the Sefton that you think?
Well, it's, to be honest with you, it's not been a great. I've got a few stats here. I'm just trying to. I've got that much paper on the desk at the moment. I can't find the right sheet. There it is. I've got it. Yeah, it's an interesting race. I mean, they've moved it from the December card, this race, haven't they? I did watch Jess Keel's races and was quite impressed with him and Oliver Greenwell and Josh Guerrero. They've had a very good season. It's not been a great race for 7-year-olds, to be honest with you. So I've gone a little bit against the stats there with Lifetime Ambition, but I thought he was fairly battle hardened. There's nothing really that sort of stands out on it. My only thing is, I'm sure someone will come up with Spirit of the Games, who's a complete bridal ponce. I mean, if you want one that travels in a race and travels around, his horse is 1 from 20 over fences, but he's had so many numerous in-running short-price defeats, and 3 of them have come at odds on.
I think that's a bit unfair, Andy Bridal Ponce. I mean, he generally finds. He just gets ridden from hopeless position. He makes ground.
I don't, as much as I respect your view, John, I don't think the horse finds bugger all, to be honest with you. But then he's either, there's only 2 ways of riding the Skelton horse, isn't they? Bang them off in front or hold them up miles out the back. There's never an in between. I suppose Al Dancer's interesting off 144. He's a bit of an underachiever, though, isn't he? 2 for Gold was pulled up in the Grand National. I like Lee's selection, I like mine too, and I do think that Broken Halo, if he was trained by anyone else, I'm not sure that he'd be favourite.
I agree, completely agree with that. And
this is another indicator of another shitty jump season with a half maximum fail turning out here.
Only the 4th of November, John. Give it some time.
Oh dear, give us a chance. I'll finish off in a minute. I'll start talking about Cheltenham in a minute. That really will piss you off.
Oh no. I think that's enough of the jump shit. Let's go on to Doncaster and the November handicap. Now, of course, our panelist Jack Veach has wankered, split state wankered. Andy Richmond has come up with an Emmett Mullins cooked up special. So yeah, you've always got to be wary of that. However, myself and obviously Quentin Franks, who's not on the show, we love a fav, and Isra for me is a really, really good horse. I like when John Gosden said he gave him the summer off because of the ground. He said didn't handle anything quicker than good at all, and
Probably
then
just
bolt.
not enter him in anything, and then he was trying to sound clever.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
Arses, for God's sake.
Yeah, but honestly, I was impressed with this physically as well. So I can't knock anyone that sometimes people say 11-4 in a big handicap, 21 runners, drawn 21 as well, like kind of thing. But I do genuinely think that this horse has a really big chance. But obviously, listening to Jack and Andy, maybe I've got it wrong. John, we've not heard much from you on the November handicap, barring your selection on Deja.
Funnily enough, I quite like two that Andy mentioned. I thought Metier was very interesting. Would maybe pull the ground, but I think he might just boss Safi Osborne, to be honest. And I do like the profile of Teed Up coming into the race as well. Had a nice sighter a month ago. Should come on for that.
Well, he's been teed up, hasn't he?
Yeah,
giving it away for us.
It's there. It's a
yeah.
The juice monkeys will be rejoicing if this wins, won't they?
I mean,
look. Sorry, Nick.
I agree with John. I mean, I think I nearly put this up. It's just that I don't know where. I can't remember. He's hardly had any runners at all, has he? But I don't know why it's in there.
I can't remember.
This one 2 years ago. This one, the old Newton, second at the Royal Meeting. Loves the ground, but I just don't know if I said. Why would he run it?
I mean, every 2 years, this fucker pops up with something that reminds you he can still bloody train.
Yeah. He drinks more than me, John.
Not possible.
Yeah, probably stretching
Not
it. But
possible.
anyway, but yeah, he loves it. He loves the old,
Can I just give you the draw stats in this race because they are quite?
Yes,
important.
absolutely, of course. Yeah. We like some good.
And not one of the last 10 winners has come from a stall lower than 9. And in 12 furlong handicaps at Doncaster since 2005, with 16 plus runners, there's been 32 of them. The draws 1 to 7 are 1 from 224.
Wow.
Last year, horses drawn 13 plus filled the first 4 places. In fact, the first stall home was Dark Jedi, who runs from. He's been buggered by the draw again this year. He runs from stall 1. The first 9 homes, 17, 21, 13, 14, 9, 11, 19, 20 and 18. So if anybody tells you they're drawn in the car, you see those stupid trainer comments saying, oh, we're drawn wide in the car park, tell them bullshit because that's completely wrong and they haven't looked.
That Andy, that's a really good stat. That's basically saying, again, like probably Ascot with the watering policy, etc., maybe the outside gets a bit neglected.
Could be.
Possibly.
Could be. There's also, if you look at the topography of the town more, if you look at the 12 furlong start, there's a very, very sharp bend just after the start. So those on the inside, you've either got to go mad to go forward or you get trapped back in the backwash. And I think that's something to do with that sharp left-hand bend. Probably is 1, 2, 3, and 4, but statistically they're against them. And there is a non-runner in the race. Sarumi is a non-runner, but he's drawn in 9, so it won't shuffle the low draws over any too much. Another bugbear of mine that they neither time form nor the post adjust the draw for non-runners in the results, which they should do.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Anybody?
Simon at Proform does, which is excellent.
Yeah, no, he does. Anybody? Anything else to add on the November handicap?
From my side,
that'll do. So that's it. We'll finish that with Andy's fantastic statistic, which I hope that helps you.
I would say at Doncaster, but Tony Calvin's ruined my price. I was going to take the big prices about volatilities.
Butterbean.
Yeah, Butterbean. Hello? Butterbean. Volatile analyst. Yeah.
Yeah. It was big prices now. It's about 20s now. I mean, I can see a big shot. I can see a big shock in this. There's end of season Wentworth Stakes. I can remember some shockers in this. And I can see volatile. He's put Watson for it as well. Alan Rodriguez been all season. Suddenly Watson's on it.
Well, you lot have put me having more on Israel, so I thank you for that. I've had a very small bet on Surf Art, but it's nothing to worry about. So yeah, you're doing well to put me off. Although Andy's stats bolstered my view as well. Anyway, so we'll come on to the Breeders' Cup then, because this is what it's all about. It's Hulk Hogan. It's, it literally is. It's this is our theme tune, our new theme tune. I hope you enjoyed our new theme tune. This is America, and we're all excited for the Breeders' Cup meeting. Obviously, starts this evening, and before we start, I'd just like to say that tonight is worth a real good look at tomorrow's race shapes and everything else, because as we know, Keenland does have certain biases at times. It can be it's been dead on the inside recently, but will they soup it up for they love a world record time?
They love a soup, didn't they, at the Breeders' Cup, especially Santa Anita, especially. The time they soup that up.
And this is the worst track really for wide draws on the two turns. It's terrible. So be careful about your views. If you fancy one wide, if they're not going to get out and away and get into a nice posse, I think you're a million. So there's things to consider. Maybe look at barns tonight that do well. They've obviously got the right carrots in them. So these are tips that I've followed since the dawn of time. Looking at informed barns at this meet, because literally it is all about the carrots. So we go on to what should we cover first? We'll do the filly and mare turf. Quite fancy looking at this, and obviously Nashwa is a short price favourite. Jack's talks about this with above the curve. Nick's talks about this with above the curve, and I'll sort of bolster that view a little bit, because that's my lay of the night is Nashwa. I'll be really getting stuck into this at short prices.
You think Ollie's ass is going to fall out, don't you?
She's not good enough in this kind of fair, and I'm sorry, but the horse as well. I'm not convinced by Nashwa at all.
You think there's three very, very possible winners in above the curve Tuesday and in Italian, and if Nashwa's 6-4 against those three, it's got to be underpriced.
Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed.
For that very reason. So that was my take. John, Andy.
I was going to ask you boys. What do you think about this ex-French trained Rougier? You know more about this flat drug stuff than I do.
I mean, ran in Del Mar last year was a little bit disappointing. It might not be quite up to these.
It was. I mean, it was a solid. It was a solid last year that Rougier had. She had a very rough trip in the EP Taylor. I think she could be. I think she could run well here, Andy. I do. I think Rougier is a contender.
Right.
So it's
the one that I've sort of had a little look at.
Yeah. I mean, only thing I would say is that, as I said, Chad Brown statistically doesn't do very well for some reason in Kentucky Breeders' Cups. Now, don't know if that's some kind of just random stat or just juice, or I don't know. But I want to watch Chad Brown runners probably tonight. If Chad Brown does well, then I think Rougier will be in my staking. Yeah, John.
I really like Tuesday in this. I thought she had a stinking draw last time. I don't think that ground suited her one bit. Ryan Moore dropped her like a fucking hot spud after the draw was made and got himself on above the curve. He's back on Tuesday tomorrow night. She's already beaten Nashua. Nashua's 13 away. This is 7. I think she's very, very solid each way potentially out the 5 box.
Do you think the 9.5 might be a bit sharp? That was my concern with her.
Possibly.
No, she's done all right in Guineas.
Yeah.
No, fair point. Yep. So John likes choosing a little bit of the prices, but the consensus from the bar stewards is obviously with the panel selections for above the curve that we are rather against Nashua. So that's where my trade certainly will be going tomorrow evening. Okay, we'll move on to the 7:10 race, which is the Breeders' Cup Mile. I know Jack is very interested in modern games. Anti-Purse, he's done really well out of modern games. He's had some of the 3-1. He's quite happy with these plays. I agree. The thing is with Godolphin, they've got a 42% strike rate stateside. Now that tells you that they get the carrots. I mean, every time they go to Woodbine, they improve tons. I made a mistake last year of laying 2 Godolphin horses, both at Woodbine, thinking they would just totally overbet, and they won by 5 wickets, and there was one horse that did a lot wrong and still won by a couple, and I thought, how on earth has that done that? Well, there you go.
Fisherman and Associates, right?
Yeah. Seth Fishman, I absolutely. So again, I'd like to see the Godolphin runners tonight how they run. Obviously, you've got Silver Knot, and the other one. What's the other one, Jack, tonight?
Mischief Magic in the sprint.
That's it. Yeah, I'd like to see how they run, because if they sort of bolt up, then you don't lay a Godolphin runner tomorrow, really. Whatever your opinion is, because that's where we're at. So my opinion on the race is that the prices now are lending to a bigger punt. I like Ivar with Javier Castellano on. This was second to Modern Games and got thrashed by Modern Games at Woodbine. But, and there's a but, Joe Talamo is off. Joe Talamo's shit. Javier Castellano is absolutely mustard. He's a brilliant, brilliant jockey. This is like Ailey Turner off, sort of, what can we say? Well, you pick a good jockey you like on.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? Yeah. Yeah. So if Ivar, I thought it's going to come from the back. It's one of them. It could be a pace, but who knows? And that's what I mean. You get the run of the race. Who knows? A big price, 28-1 plus. Hours with Ivar. Folks, fire away.
I rather like Order of Australia, actually.
Yeah.
It's
international form.
Well, he's international wise. I mean, he's got form around these tight shithole tracks.
Yep.
The ground will be no problem whatsoever. And I just think he's way overpriced at 28-1.
He won't be that over there. He won't be that over there. I think.
Didn't he win this? Didn't he win this before?
Yeah, he's running.
Yeah, this track as well.
Yeah, that was when he was about 70. And he paid $70 or something, didn't he? It was about 70.
Yeah, that's right. He beat Circus Max. Circus Maximus was desperate.
There's been loads. There's been loads of big price winners of this. Caracanite, Court Vision, Mystique's Approval, Singletary, Dome Driver.
I tell you what, yeah, John, right, looking back, so it was 2020, and Ivar was 4th in that race, and Order of Australia won from track 14.
Yeah.
And won by, a neck, 3/4 of length for length, so
didn't
maybe
Ryan get him? They got him out really well, didn't they, that day as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won't, I mean, smooth like straight leads there. Depends how Pope.
Yeah, on the inside, He's the pace.
He's the pace inside him. It all depends what happens with Modern Games. Will get a bit of a shuffle back here if Pogo does break and Smooth Like Straight goes in, then Modern Games. I don't know where he's going to go early, but it would be interesting.
It's a big price, Order of Australia on that. Yeah, 20-1. Yeah, with Brian Moore on. He has his moments. Does Brian? Andy, anything?
I'm listening to you boys more intently than anything. I just thought that, there's been a few big prizes. Sort of race I'd be tempted to have a bit of a stab at a few at. I wouldn't back King Ross at from that from that box out in the car park. I might
can't have Kinross.
Might just have a stab at a few at big prices here, because it just seems to be that sort of race. You know, if you're not gonna lump on the favourite, I'd rather just fire a few darts at a few here. And Ivar was one that was on the short list, and so was Annapolis.
Well, this is it. It's sort of the short run to the bend. For me, the wide runners might as well go home. You know, it's a real tough ass. So I suppose, like John says, with Order of Australia, the fact that this horse managed to do it, trap 14, and round here, that I don't see any negatives in that at 20s at all.
He's tough as bugger. He'll handle the track, he'll handle the ground. I don't say what's not to like at 21.
Well, the other thing is he's a very genuine competitive Group 1 horse. Yeah. You know, that can't be denied. You know, 4th at Deauville to Inspiral. He's come up against.
He's not far behind the best of these. He's best, is he? I mean,
no.
You know, you say given the right conditions, a tight track, a good ride, he's banging among it.
Indeed. Right, 7:55, the Distaff on dirt for mares. Obviously, this is we've got no European challenge for this contest, naturally. But any views on the Distaff?
Yes, is this where you've
Nick?
This is the Nest was Nest's favourite, isn't it?
Yeah. Nest is a strong favourite.
Yeah. I was thinking. I mean, it's not. We haven't had. We have many. I think we have many clashes of the 3 and 4 year olds. I was nearly mollifying a Malafat Clairiere reverse forecast in the hope that they would be the 4 year olds might be the superior. Speed figure Bayer wise, they're ahead of Nest only by a couple of points, and they've had the experience of Breeders' Cup before, haven't they? Finishing second and third, or third and fourth behind the Japanese runner last year at Del Mar. So
indeed,
that might be the way I play the race.
Did you did you mention sort of Nest and Clairiere?
No, I meant not Malafat and Clairiere.
Yeah,
Malafat and Clairiere, the reverse forecast. Just on the thing, the 4 year old angle that. Coming into this, their Bayers are a bit better than they're only, well, not by a lot, but a bit better than Nest. But Nest is very overbet.
Yeah, I think at the price, I think Clariere's the one to be with. You know, like Nest, like you say, at 7-4, it's the right favourite. It's probably about right at around 7-4. But I thought Clairiere at 13-2 offered quite significant value, because I think don't forget, she was 7-4 to beat Malahat last time. And she wasn't happy. She was upset that day, and she got unruly in the stalls. She was detached. She just wasn't. She just run no kind of race whatsoever. Before that, she beat Malathat in the Chuvie at Saratoga. So I just think that her at 13-2 compared to Malathat at 100-30, just on the back of the last run.
Oh yeah.
It just wasn't Clariere's day.
Yeah, I'm being greedy.
So I think if we're playing on this and we've got the dead 8, it'd be a filthy each way bet on Clairiere for me. Anything else to add on the Distaff?
No, I'd agree with you, chaps. I think Clariere's been kind of written off based on last effort, but you know, as you said, Lee messed around the stalls, missed the break.
Yeah, she wasn't happy.
You write that one off, and you look at a formal year. I mean, her and Malathat have just been going kind of head to head, haven't they? Really. So yeah. In the human world, you know, when fillies are unhappy, it's not a good thing. No.
Right. 840 Keenland.
Selective distance helps with that particular problem.
Yeah. It does. Musical fingers. That old advert that used to put on, musical fingers. Sell them. Anyway, 840 Keenland. It's the Breeders' Cup turf, and Nation's Pride heads the market at 9-4. I'm pretty much against him, I've got to say, chaps, because although he's been, I wouldn't be against him to lay, because I've mentioned about the Godolphin carrots, which I'm always worried about. You don't lay Godolphin horses stateside; it's just not profitable. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm not certain he he should be that price. Jack made the case for Rebels Romance at 9-2. I think Mishriff's gone. Nick said about Warlike Goddess, admirable, consistent mare, really admirable mare. And I just think Broom's performances come out at the same sort of numbers as Nation's Pride. What Broom achieved last year, he's right up to this level. I don't think it's a vintage renewal.
Didn't John tip him last year?
Yeah.
John, you were on him last year, weren't you?
Yeah.
I was. I'll be backing him this year as well. I think he's got an excellent chance. I'd echo what Lee says about Nation's Pride. I just get the feeling whenever he's met a right good horse, he's got bait. The races he's won, he was entitled to win. I don't think he's done anything this year that Brown couldn't have done. And the difference in the price is absolutely, well, you can taste it, can't you?
It is. I think being a flimper, all British bookmakers are paying 4 pegs. I think something like Broom is an excellent pinch bet, because I can't, unless you get bad luck in running, I can't see him not running his race. He likes it out here. He likes the ground. Everything's right for him. He likes these bowls. And I just think, he had some bad rides.
I think the 3 of Aiden's well overpriced tomorrow night. I'm having an each-way patent.
Yeah, Aiden's got a good record in Breeders' Cups. And like you say, Order of Australia, we've gone through that.
There seems to be a lot of love for Stone Age, but I just don't get it.
I couldn't get the trip in a horse box, to be honest.
But he'll bound off in front, won't he? That's all he's kind of done recently. But yeah.
Yeah, I just prefer Broom than Stone Age. So obviously that's where we're going on that.
What poor event this has become in the last couple of years, though, isn't it?
It's a shame, because we've had some absolute quality horses win this, which is a shame. But yeah, I think this is a sort of a 118 to 120 renewal.
They could make it a handicap, couldn't they?
Yeah, it's not the best.
I think pushing it like yourself.
I think you're probably right. It's 115. You're probably right. You're probably right, chaps. Okay, we'll go on to the finale, which is the Super Horse. Sorry, Andy, I'm
fine with that one. It's
no worries.
Taking all your views on board.
Yes, the 9:40, the finale. For TV viewers, is a Flightline at 2 to 5. I thought this was amazing value last week at 8 to 13, 4 to 7. Thought the British books have got it completely wrong. This is an absolute monster horse. I think for punters, and the way I'd like to guide punters is try and play maybe some exotics to try and obviously make the race interesting. And the 2 I was interested in at prices were Olympiad and Hot Rod Charlie. I felt they were very. It's quite insulting odds at 33s and 40s the pair. And I personally will be playing Flightline on top with Olympiad and Hot Rod Charlie in forecasts.
That's the thing. Does Life is Good really get this?
They're going to ride Life is Good to win. And the point is, Life is Good won't beat Flightline unless Flightline just has a complete bomb out and a disaster. It's not going to be. That's why I'd rather play bigger prices. Because
she's good, he's going to do a sham, don't you?
Yes, because they're not going to. Right, they know they can't beat Flightline unless they take him on. Right, you can't sit off Flightline and just let him do his own thing. If they do that, it's going to win by about 16. So that's the scenario we've got around the first bend. How many horses are going to be surrounding Flightline? And you can bet your life that Life is Good. Possibly one or two others are going to literally take him on. Which I think then, I genuinely think that something like Olympiad, Hot Rod Charlie, I think they can pick up the pieces late.
By the way, Lee, Mike Welsh loves your two. He thinks they're working their skins out.
Who's that?
Mike Welsh, the DRF clocker. He thinks Hot Rod Charlie and Olympiad have been working the house down.
That's interesting because they're nice prices. These are playable, and these are very good horses. These aren't horses that are miles off. The likes of Life is Good epicenter. We're talking a few pounds, maybe a couple of pounds on what I can see. So personally, that's my value edge into the Classic. Flightline, I want to see Flightline win by 10. I think it'd be some sight to see a wonder horse. But who knows? He might bounce. But I think the funny thing is, if he does even bounce off his last effort, which was superhuman, superline, sorry. Even if he does, his worst figure that he's ran in his last 4 starts still beats the rest. So he's really going to have to bomb out. That's why I thought 4 to 7 was too generous. 2 to 5, I think 3's on is where I'd have him.
Blogger will be on, won't he? Blogger.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he might even have. I mean, he's gone up in the world. He might have a 3,001 these days. He's flying. Yeah. Right, chaps. Any other thoughts on the Breeders' Classic? What anyone think?
No.
Jack?
No, with you, Lee. I thought Life is Good would be the one that I wouldn't want to put in my kind of, second place exactors or whatever, because I thought he struggled last time out, even seeing out that 9. And like you said, they're all just going to try and take on Flightline, so it kind of sets up for a couple of Hot Rod Charlie. I'd even give Rich Strike a squeak, to run into a place there. So yeah, you can have a bit of fun with the exotics, I'd say.
Well, even Bill Mott has said, a trainer of Olympiad, he's come out and said he goes basically he can see Life is Good and Flightline going hammer and tongs, ding donging on the front end, and he goes, we'll just be sitting, just creeping into it. And I like that. So he's already thinking how he's gonna.
Do they have deed polls in America?
Deed polls.
Change name.
Polls. They can change your name.
I'd imagine so.
I'm just wondering how the hell you get to his age and you still have the surname Mott.
Won't be that.
Superb. This is the bar stewards, like to a T. Yeah. Right. Any other business, chaps? Any other worthy mentions?
No.
Anywhere else, or anything that you'd like to get off your chest?
Just looking forward to seeing Flightline moving like an immaculate machine.
Yeah.
Tremendous machine. Tremendous machine.
Tremendous machine, then. Yeah.
And then you've got Matt Hancock in the jungle next week. Interesting time.
So he fucking
John, by the way, John's done a fantastic.
Let's hope he gets eaten by a crocodile or something.
Yeah. John's preview is fantastic, and that goes on the site tomorrow on the I'm a Celebrity. So look forward to that. So John's preview of I'm a Celebrity, where I'm sure he's got plenty to say about Matt Hancock. Anyway, that's all from us. We've had a fantastic show. Me, Jack, Nick, Andy, John, whatever happens. I hope you have a good weekend punting and back plenty of winners. That's all from us. Bye for now.